This is our Bitmoji classroom. I'm going to go ahead and put it in present mode so you can see exactly what it looks like when you get to it as a work. Remember, our virtual Bitmoji classroom is one of the small adjustments that we made this year so that you can find all your work in one place and we can personalize it as much as we want to be as Montessori as we want. This is the front of the building. The front of the building looks kind of like ours, except for it's not 2 stories maybe. However, each of these windows is where you're going to find your work. This is what our entire tutorial is about. Where do I find my work in the Bitmoji classrooms? So, in our classroom, we're going to go ahead and click to Monday. There's important ways to find your work here. There'll always be priorities on the board, which is what you would find in one of your normal classrooms if you were here face-to-face. In addition, you might find a lesson on your board. That lesson is usually a video that you can watch that your teacher has recorded. Below are 2 signs hanging. The most important works or materials that you might need for that day will be linked here. You know that it's a work that you can click on when you hover over or it's underlined and you see a little finger pointer pop up. The finger popping up means you can click on it and it will take you to a work. In addition, some other places you'll find work in your Bitmoji classroom include on the shelf here, you can see I can click on this strange toilet paper roll and I can click on my Google Classroom here. I can see each of the classrooms for the week. Here's Tuesday. I have work below that's a priority and some works on my shelf. I can see on Wednesday, I have a lesson, my priorities on the board, works below the board that I might need to prioritize, and works on the shelf. The same as for Thursday, work on the board, work below the board, work on the shelf. And it seems to be a surprising work here on the wall. And then Friday, same thing. Priorities are on the board, video to watch, priority works linked below, and things on the shelf. If we're to click on one of these works, let's see what happens. If I click here for the work that's placed in the beaker, it's going to open up an entirely new tab. When I open up the new tab, there is my work. You can see it takes me into an entirely new room. This is the science lab. The science lab has lots of works on it that we can complete. If we take our time and click through each and do our work, and when we finish, we can just simply close our tab for this assignment and go right back into Friday. The same thing happens if we click on a work that's posted under the board. If we click on a work posted under the board, we can see again, it pulls up in a new tab. Here's cooking in my kitchen. Cooking with me, you can see there will be lots of activities to complete within here. And then when you're finished again, you can just click out of it and go back to your Friday classroom. This is how you find all of the works within your Bitmoji classroom. In summary, you'll always find priorities on the board and perhaps a lesson on the board. Below the board, you'll find priority works listed on these tiny blackboards. You'll know that there are works there and that they're linked because the little finger pointer says you can click on it. You'll also find works on the shelf here. They're going to be labeled with pictures, and again, you'll be able to see the little pointer finger says you can click on it. Additional places that you can find work might show up as a surprise, but you'll notice it right away and your teacher will be sure to tell you about it, like this little bug crawling up the wall. You can always go into your specials classroom, which will house works for you that you always want to make sure you click on when you have the opportunity. For example, when I go through the specials door on Thursday, I'm led into the Spanish arcade. Here are some works that I need to complete. Just as I did with my other works, when I finish, I can close out the tab and be right back in my Thursday classroom. This is a summary of how to find your works in the Bitmoji classroom.